in a small village lived a couple named Fatima and Lau. Their home was simple, not large or grand, but it overflowed with affection. Fatima was lovely, her warm smile brightening every corner, while Lau was sturdy and good-looking. Together, they were content, blessed with 4 charming daughters. Each girl shone like a precious jewel, full of light and beauty. Yet Fatima and Lau struggled financially. Every day, Lau toiled long hours. He labored on nearby farms, doing tough jobs to ensure there was enough food for his family. It wasn't always plentiful, but they appreciated whatever they received. Fatima contributed too. She hauled water, cleaned laundry for others, and carried goods at the market, all to bring in a bit more for their household. Despite their efforts, life remained hard. The girls were growing and school supplies like books and pencils became necessary. However, Fatima and Lau often couldn't afford these things. At times their daughters returned home early from classes because fees went unpaid. This saddened the couple, but they embraced their children, played games with them, and worked to keep every day joyful. Their modest house rang with laughter and the patter of small feet. Though they owned little, Fatima and Lau cherished each other and their daughters deeply. They held on to hope that life would improve somehow, even if the path forward wasn't clear. Each night beneath a sky dotted with stars, they sat outside their tiny home, clasped hands, and wished for a brighter future for their beloved girls. They understood the challenges, but their optimism was a rare and valuable gift. One bright morning, Lau felt a weight in his chest. He knew he had to find a solution for his family's struggles. Determined, he chose to visit a friend in a neighboring village, seeking assistance. He trekked a long distance under a vast blue sky, his thoughts fixed on Fatima and the girls. Upon arriving, his friend greeted him warmly. Lau shared their hardships and asked, "Can you lend me some money?" His friend listened attentively. Before replying, "Lau, I won't just hand you food. I'll teach you how to provide for yourself so you'll never lack again." Confused but hopeful, Lau agreed. His friend then led him to an elderly herbalist who lived deep in the woods. The herbalist's home was unusual, marked with odd symbols and circled by strange plants. Lau felt uneasy as he entered. The air was thick with herbal scents and an unfamiliar odor. The old man heard Lau's tale, his eyes glinting oddly. Then he spoke. "I can make you wealthy, but it requires a cost." Curious, Lau pressed, "What must I do?" The herbalist's gaze grew stern. "You'll use your children in a ritual. They won't perish, but they'll endure pain." Lau recoiled, stunned and appalled. "I can't do that," he protested. "I want riches to improve my daughters' lives, not hurt them. I'd rather walk away than harm my own." But the herbalist issued a chilling warning. "Now that you've seen and heard this, leaving means you won't reach home alive." Terrified and cornered, Lau thought of their unpaid bills and sparse meals. With a sinking heart, he accepted the grim bargain, hoping it wouldn't be as awful as it seemed. The herbalist handed him a dark powder, instructing him to blend it into his children's food. Lau left with a small pouch and a promise of change, but the burden of his choice grew heavier with every step home. When he returned, he was subdued and sorrowful. Following the herbalist's orders, he sprinkled the powder into his daughter's meal, praying it wouldn't harm them. The next day, a fierce wind tore through the village, howling as if furious. It rattled doors and shook trees, startling everyone. Villagers buzzed about the unusual gust, but for Lau's family, it brought tragedy. His oldest daughter, known for her radiant smile, lost her vision. She wept, saying all was dark. Lau's heart shattered. He tried to convince himself it was mere chance, but deep down, he knew the powder was to blame. Whispers spread about the wind and the girl's sudden blindness. Then on a strangely quiet day, a man dressed entirely in black arrived. Carrying a heavy sack, he moved swiftly to Lau's house. He told Lau and Fatima he'd heard of their daughter's plight and offered aid. "Don't open this until I'm gone," he said with a hollow smile. Puzzled yet hopeful, they waited as he departed, then peered inside. The sack brimmed with golden coins. For a moment they danced with joy, thinking their troubles were over and the herbalist deal wasn't so terrible. But as the money gleamed, Fatima glanced at her sightless daughter and felt a chill. The stranger had brought wealth, but the wind had stolen something priceless. Lau brushed off her fears, calling it bad luck, though he alone knew this was only the start of a steep price. With the money their lives transformed. They purchased vast farms and the market's biggest shop. Their once tiny home became a spacious, stunning residence. Now wealthy, they earned the village's admiration. Their daughters enjoyed fine clothes, delicious meals, and luxurious items, earning the nickname princesses. Yet sadness lingered. The eldest remained blind. Fatima often urged Lau to seek a healer with their riches, but he refused. "It's her fate," he'd say grimly. "We can't alter it." Trusting him, Fatima felt helpless. Villagers sometimes murmured about the blind girl, wondering why Lau didn't act, but none dared ask. Amid their prosperity, a shadow of grief persisted. 2 years later, their farms flourished and their stores thrived. The family lived extravagantly, but the first sacrifice's echo remained. Then the herbalist summoned Lau again. Knowing what awaited, Lau visited and learned it was time to renew their fortune, this time by sacrificing his second daughter. His stomach dropped. He couldn't bear to hurt another child, but the herbalist cautioned that refusal meant losing everything and his sanity. Trapped anew, Lau reluctantly consented. Returning home, he mixed more dark powder into the food. The next day, his second daughter awoke, unable to hear or speak. The family grieved, Fatima sobbing, but Lau insisted it was fate. Days later, the man in black returned, stayed overnight, and left another sack of riches. Fatima pleaded to heal their second daughter, but Lau stood firm, claiming it was unchangeable. Suspicion stirred in Fatima, though she stayed quiet, unsure what to believe. The cycle repeated. A trip to the herbalist, another daughter afflicted, and the man in black delivering cursed wealth. With each round, their fortunes swelled, but joy faded. Laughter grew scarce, and smiles felt forced. Fatima watched her once lively girls become quiet, their burdens too great for young hearts. Lau's eyes, once warm, darkened with hidden guilt. Sensing something amiss, Fatima grew wary of his refusals to help their children. Determined to uncover the truth, she secretly trailed him one day to the herbalist's hut. Hiding nearby, she overheard their hushed talk of sacrifices, how Lau had traded their daughter's well-being for riches. Stunned and heartbroken, she realized the man she loved had caused their pain. Fearful of the herbalist's threat that exposing this would drive them mad, she kept silent, returning home with a heavy soul. Time passed, and Fatima bore her secret alone. Their wealth endured, but its cost gnawed at her. When the herbalist called Lau again, she dreaded the worst. He returned grim-faced, admitting another ritual was demanded, this time targeting their last healthy daughter. Unable to harm her, Lau hesitated. That night Fatima confronted him. "I followed you to the herbalist. What happened?" she asked, trembling. Lau confessed the latest demand. Desperate to save her child, Fatima visited the herbalist herself, begging for another way. After a pause, he offered an alternative, a wound on Lau's leg that she must lick daily to preserve their riches, with death as the penalty for revealing it. Repulsed but resolute, she agreed. The next day, the herbalist cut Lau's leg, and Fatima began the grim task, tears falling as their wealth held. Their fortune grew, the man in black delivering more sacks, but their home darkened. Fatima's daily ritual left her ill, a foul odor clinging to her. Villagers noticed, whispering and avoiding her. Lau watched her fade, guilt-ridden, knowing his choices had led here. Their daughters, confused and frightened, sensed the shift. Isolated by wealth and secrets, the family lived in a gilded prison. As Fatima weakened, the village grew distant, their riches a hollow comfort against the happiness they'd lost. One day the elders, alarmed by Fatima's decline and the family's odd prosperity, met under the village tree. The wisest elder declared, "We must help her and uncover the truth." They confronted Lau, demanding he take Fatima to a healer. He resisted, claiming it was a passing illness, but the elders pressed. When he refused, villagers forcibly took Fatima to the healer, restraining Lau. Amid chants and rituals, the healer demanded, "Speak the truth." Terrified but cornered, Lau admitted using their daughters in rituals with the herbalist's powder. Fatima added, "I licked his wound daily to keep our wealth, and it sickened me." The crowd gasped. Then a miracle unfolded. The blind daughter saw, the deaf one spoke, and the ill one healed. The villagers marveled, but fury rose. The elders sentenced Lau for his deeds. Suddenly he went mad, fleeing into the forest, lost forever. They banished Fatima for her silence, unmoved by her pleas. She left, hoping her daughters would forgive her. The village embraced the girls, raising them with care. The tale of Fatima and Lau became a lasting lesson. Chasing wealth over family and honesty brings ruin. True joy lies in love and integrity. The village prospered, retelling the story as a timeless reminder. Thanks for listening. If you liked this story, please give it a thumbs up, share it with loved ones, leave a comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell for more tales like this. Farewell.